Today's shir is sponsored by my good friend Shimshon Granick in loving memory of his father William Granick, Zechayin Lavracha, whose yortzeit is today Gimel Teves. The shir is also Leila Nishmas Elimelech ben Levi Yitzchak Osher Shmachayim ben Ephraim, Tzvi Dov ben Chaim Pesach, William and Helen, Rachel Bas Yosef, David ben Abraham, Fred ben Richard, Abraham ben Mordechai David, Reuven ben Shmuel, Shoshana bas Elchanan, Chana Golda bas Yisrael, Chaim ben Fega, Yeshua ben Shmuel, Yaakov ben Yitzchak, Chaim ben Fega, Mordechai Netzach ben Rivka, Chaim ben Gedalia, Zalman Leib ben Moshe, Chaim Eliyahu ben Yosef Moshe, Amichai ben Yaakov and Gedalia ben Tzvi, Reuven, Leila Nishmatam. Today we'll be speaking about the unsung hero of Chanuka, Yael. Not Yael, Yehudit. Yehudit. I get mixed up. Because she did an act similar to Yael, so that's why I said Yael. But before we get to Yehudit, the unsung hero of Chanuka, Yehuda's kind enough to hand out the flyers. Did you hear the story about this reform shul? Now, all my stories are true, but some didn't happen yet. This reform shul was infested with mice. You hear this, Mickey? There was a reform shul, Mikimia, was infested with mice. They couldn't get rid of them. So the president of the reform shul asked the reform rabbi for advice. How do we get rid of the mice in the shul? He thinks, he said, oh, I have the solution. Let's make them a bar mitzvah and they'll never show up again. Okay? All right. So, now this year was inspired by Yehudit from Pennsylvania. Hope she's listening or watching. Yehudit from Pennsylvania. Inspired this year the role of Yehudit in the miracle of Chanuka. Hope you have a source sheet, Moshe. You have one? The role of Yehudit in the miracle of Chanuka, we'll see that her role was similar to Esther on Purim. You look at source number one. Source number one. Talmud Bavli, Masechta Shabbat. Isha vadai matlika. Even though Chanuka is what? A time-bound mitzvah, women also have to light. Why? Source number one, Nushua ben Levi. Noshim chayovos bener Chanuka. Women also have to light the Chanuka candles. Because women too were involved in the miracle. Which miracle? Which miracle? Which miracle? Doesn't say. Now, if you look at the Ala Nisim, there isn't no mention at all of the Pach Shemen, enough for one day, burning 8 days. Nowhere mentioned in the Ala Nisim. What's mentioned there? Giborim biyad chaloshim, v'ravim biyad miyatim. The powerful in the hands of the weak, the many in the hands of the few, that miracle. That's exactly what happened in 1948. In fact, in 1948, I think it was a bigger miracle than Chanuka. Because in Chanuka, the Maccabees had weapons. In 1948, I was friends with a Yid, a Kiva Bessel, who fought there. They had no weapons. They had no artillery. They had sewer pipes. They mounted the sewer pipes on top of the mountains. You hear this? Sewer pipes, Moshe. And the Jordanian tanks were coming. They saw these huge, from afar, looked like cannons. They turned around. You hear this? And they had the seltzer bottles. They had the Israel Air Force, a couple of Piper Cubs. They had no bombs. They dropped seltzer bottles. They whistle on the way down. Whee! So the Egyptian army, they saw these seltzer, but they didn't know what it was, floating down and whistling down, and they took off their shoes and they ran. So I think that the miracle of the 6th day of the Mechemet HaShichrur was even greater than what in Chanuka. So the miracle, Giborim biyad chaloshim, v'ravim biyad miyatim, it's exactly what took place on the Jewish state in 48. The Asian miracles, they had one cannon called the Davidka. The Levitka, one cannon they had against the mighty Jordan army, the Egyptian army with tanks and planes. And we had seltzer bottles, sewer pipes, and World War I rifles. So I think, in my humble opinion, Moshe, that it was a bigger miracle than Nes Chanukah. And if you say Hallel today, you should definitely say Hallel on what? On the Yom HaTzmaut. But some people say, don't confuse me with the facts. Okay? So women were also involved in the miracle. How were they involved in the miracle? How? So Rashi, source number 2, tells me, Rashi Masechta Shabbat, but also Nes, which miracle? Source number 2, Shegozru Yevonim al kol besulot hanesuais liboyel etafsat chila. There was a decree by the wicked Greek regime that controlled Israel that every Jewish bride on the wedding night first to have to let herself be raped by the Greek governor. You hear this?
Really?
Yeah. Source number 3. That's why I made it number 2, right? Also, Nes, number 2, Shegazu Yevonim. Rashi says the Yevonim made a gzeira al kol besulot hanesois, on all Jewish girls that got married, liboyel letafsar tchila, first had to submit to the Greek governor. Vayidei isha nasa hanes. Rashi's very vague. And through a woman, the miracle of Chanukah happened. Which miracle and which woman? Right? So, source number 3. That's the Rashbam. Source number 3, but also a Nes. So here the Rashbam is speaking about what? The Nes of Yetzias Mitzrayim. Women also have to drink Arba Kosot, even though it's a time-bound mitzvah, because who was the heroine of the Exodus? The Iron Ladies of the Exodus. The miracle of the Exodus happened, the Gemara in Pesachim says, in the Schus of Noshim Tzidkanios. So even though drinking the 4 cups of wine is a time-bound mitzvah, since women were instrumental in the Exodus, therefore they also have to drink 4 cups of wine. Source number 3, but also on this, Perish Rashbam, Shal Yodam Negalu. The whole miracle of the redemption from Egypt was not because of Moses and Aaron, but in the schus of what? Of the Noshim Tzidkaniot, the righteous women. V'chein b'Megillah, al yidei Esther. Throughout Jewish history, when the chips were down, who came to our rescue? Superwoman. Not Superman, Superwoman. Going back, source number 3.
That's redundant.
Going back, right? Source number 3. So the Exodus, Perish Rashbam, Ayodam Negalu, V'chein b'Megillah, Ayidei Esther. Just like Esther was the heroine of the Megillah story, Purim, U'b'Chanukah Ayidei Yehudit. So the Rashbam is comparing Esther's role on Purim to what? Yehudit's role on Chanukah. The problem is we have no text on Chanukah. There's no Tanakh. Unlike Megillat Esther, which is part of Tanakh, Megillas Chashmonaim is not part of Tanakh. Because when Chashmonaim lived, there was no longer any prophecy. The Tanakh was closed. So therefore, it didn't make it into the canon. But if you look at the Sefer Maccabee, it tells the story there, and I'll tell you what it's about. But it's amazing that the Rashbam, who didn't have the Sefer Maccabee because it was not part of the Tanakh, compares Yehudit's role on Chanukah to Esther's role on Purim. That just like there would be no Purim miracle without Esther, there would be no Chanukah miracle without Yehudit. I hope Yehudit from Pennsylvania is listening. Okay. So what's the miracle over there? What happened? Right? So source number 5. Source number 5. The Noshech Hayov Mikra Megillah. Women are obligated to read the Megillah. Shafem Hoyabay Saynes. Because the miracle of Purim only happened through Ayidei Esther. Right? V'chein. What's the next word, Moshe? Source number 5. Chayov is Ner Chanukah. And therefore, women also have to light Chanukah candles, even though it's a time-bound mitzvah. Women are usually what? Exempt. Right? But since women were instrumental. Just like Purim, the woman was instrumental in the miracle, so women have to read the Megillah. So too, Chayavos B'ner Chanukah, Shanes Ba, the miracle of Chanukah happened, just like the miracle of Purim happened through Esther. The miracle of Chanukah happened, Al Yedei, Yehudit, Bibnois Chashminoi. She was a daughter of the Chashminoim, meaning she was a sister of the Maccabee brothers. She was a daughter of the Matisyo ben Yochanan Kohen Gadol, the Chashmonai family. She was the sister of the Maccabee brothers. So what happened? On her wedding day, she was taken to the governor's palace, like every Jewish girl. On her wedding day, was taken to the governor's palace, right? So what's she gonna do? She played along, and she said, "Don't rape me. Put me in the mood for love. I'm in the mood for love." Yechiel, it was a put-on. Yechiel, it was a put-on. She said, "Don't rape me. Put me in the mood for love. Let's have a wine and cheese party. Let's have a wine and cheese party." Okay? So she got him drunk. A lot of wine, a lot of cheese. Got him drunk, cut off his head. This is from the Medrash. She showed her Maccabee brothers. She gave them the courage to fight against all odds. She said, her brothers, defend the honor, my honor, the honor of all Jewish women. Why are you sitting on your hands for? Why don't you act like Shimon and Levi to defend the honor of Dinah? So she said, I got the ball rolling from you. I cut off the head of the Greek governor. So therefore, now I'm giving you the courage to fight against all odds. So what the Medrash is telling us, that she was the heroine, just like Esther was the heroine. With Achashverosh, she was the heroine of the Chanuka story. She did an act like, I mentioned Yael before. If you look in the book of Shoftim, Yael, Eshes Chever Akeni, remember? She had relations with Sisera, and she got him drunk, gave him milk and wine, and then she cut off his head. So centuries later, Yehudit copied the example of what? Of Yael in the book of Shoftim. And look at source number 9. Source number 9. The Shulchan Aruch says, Yesh omrim sheyesh lechol gevina v'Chanukah. There is a custom to eat cheese. Doesn't say donuts. There's a custom to eat cheese when on Chanukah.
Dairy.
What?
Dairy. Cheese.
Gevina. Doesn't say dairy. It says Gevina. I'm a text man. Source number 9. Yesh omrim sheyesh lechol gevina v'Chanukah. There's a mitzvah, not a mitzvah, minhag to eat cheese, because the miracle happened through a wine and cheese party. Shachila Yehudit at the Oyev. Yehudit gave the enemy a wine and cheese, and she got him drunk, and she gave him like Sedron headache number 9. Number 9. Made him a head shorter. So there should be a mitzvah to drink wine too. Okay? I don't know why. There's just cheese. I don't know why. I don't know. But not donuts. Source number 9, not donuts, right?
Maybe for dessert.
So when she made him a head shorter, she gave courage to her brothers, the Maccabee brothers, to what? To begin the rebellion, to begin the revolt. But she was the catalyst, the heroine of Elisheva, just like Esther was the heroine of what? Of the Purim story. We don't know about it because it's not part of Tanakh. But I'm giving you the inside story. And therefore, source number 11, you see that? Shulchan Aruch. B'kofei b'Kislev, on the 25th day of Kislev, matchilin shmonas shemei Chanukah. You begin the 8 days of Chanukah. V'osur mehesped detainis. Chanukah, you're not allowed to fast, and you're not allowed to give a eulogy. Aval, the Torah Masudas Malach, you're allowed to do work. Allowed to do work. V'nohagos hanoshim shaloi lasois melacha ba'od shanerois dolkos. There is a minhag that women should not do any malacha work while the candles are still being lit.
Burning.
The Yeshmi Sha'omer She'ein Lahem Lahakel. You shouldn't be makel. You shouldn't be lenient. There's a strong minhag that women do not do any work while the Chanuka candles are lit. Why is that? How come men can do work? Because the whole miracle happened through women. And because of women. Noshim Tzidkaniot. So therefore, there's a strong minhag in source number 11, women not to do malacha, ba'od shaneros dolkas, as long as the candles are lit. Now, what does Maccabee mean? Maccabi, Maccabee. It means a kupat cholim. Chanoch, does it mean the beer or the football team? Why they called Maccabi? Why they called Maccabi? Maccabi beer. No, Maccabi is an acronym. Mi kamoicha be'elam Hashem. That's the Jewish national anthem, the Shirat Hayam, Exodus 17. Mi kamoicha be'elam Hashem. Who is as mighty as you among Hashem? We know that we're just going through the motions. All of our victory comes through what? HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That was their motto, and therefore Maccabee is FBI, CIA, or NYPD. Mi kamoicha be'elam Hashem. Now it's just incredible how current events never fails in Chanuka, or in any time you have a Jewish festival, it always ties in with what? Current events. Fasten your seatbelts. Even though it's not Thursday, today's Sunday. But I'll show you incredible current events in Chanuka. On Chanuka, Obama and Tumas Carey and the UN condemned us. On Chanuka, again, it was the UN, Obama and Tumas Carey condemned us on Chanuka for occupying our own land. If you look in the Sefer Maccabees, in the book of Maccabees, Shimon Maccabi states in the book of Maccabees, 2,200 years ago, what John Balkari said this week, he was answered 2,200 years ago by Shimon Maccabi. And I'll quote what he says in the book of Maccabees. We have not occupied a foreign land. We have liberated our own land from foreign occupation. Now, isn't that incredible? Chanuka, 2,200 years ago, this is Shimon Maccabee's answer to the Balkari and the abomination. I'll quote again, you can Google it, the book of Maccabees. We have not occupied a foreign land, comma. We have liberated our own land from foreign occupation. It's deja vu all over again. Wow. Today's headlines. Have no fear. Shem is playing the trump card. God is playing the trump card, Chanoch. Isn't that incredible? No coinky dinky. Chanuka, right? They condemn us for occupying our own land, Dafki on Chanuka. But what did Trump tell us? Don't worry, Israel, be strong. January 20 is around the corner, right? God is playing the trump card, yes?
I just took the Roshete vote of Kerry and Obama and the women. I got Akum.
Akum, fakrumt. Kruk, right? Fakrumt, right? Now, why is it that all of the miracles through Jewish history were caused by women? Why is that? Why is that? Well, a Jew answers a question with what? With a question. Why is Rosh Chodesh? Rosh Chodesh is the holiday for women. Women have this custom not to do malach on Rosh Chodesh. It's their yontif. Why is Rosh Chodesh their yontif? Why is that? Rosh Chodesh, can you see the moon? The Jewish people compared to the moon.
No.
We're surrounded by blackness. We're pale and weak compared to the brass, arrogant sun, the UN. The Zohar calls the Jewish people are represented by the moon. Rosh Chodesh, it's all dark. You can't see any light. In Mitzrayim, the Jewish people separated from their wives. Amram divorced Yocheved, the chief rabbi, and all the the Hasidim said, well, why should we have children? They'll wind up in the bottom of the Nile River. So little Miriam, she said, Abba, your decree is worse than Pharaoh. Because Pharaoh only decreed what?
Boys.
Against the boys. By divorcing mommy, you are preventing what? The girls from being born. So Amram got up and remarried Yocheved, who was born? Moshe Rabbeinu. Wasn't for little Miriam, there'd be no redeemer and no lawgiver. So when Amram remarried his wife, all the Hasidim got up and married their wives. If it wasn't for little Miriam's advice, there'd be no solution to the Jewish problem. No Jewish babies, that's it. So little Miriam knew better than her father, the chief rabbi. Now he could have said, what are you telling me? Go back to romper room. Remember romper room? Go play with your dolls. What are you telling me? He didn't say that. What's the message, Nechama? Listen to your kids. Listen to your kids. He didn't say go play with your dolls. You listened to her, remarried her, Moshe Rabbeinu was born. Women have this uncanny ability to see through the blackness. Rosh Chodesh, when the moon is all covered, it's all black. When men gave up hope in Mitzrayim, and Purim, Chanuka, the men felt helpless. It took a woman's bina yetera to give the men chizuk and courage. So the nest of Am Yisrael is what? Is the Jewish woman can see the or b'toch hachoshech. When the moon is all covered, when it's all black Rosh Chodesh, and the situation looks helpless, the woman said no. Despite the darkness, there's going to be or. And then the moon gets rejuvenated. We are like the moon, the great comeback kid. When things look black and bleak, we have the awesome power of what? Rejuvenation. Rejuvenate. 3 years after Auschwitz, a third of our people were destroyed. We come here to this wonderful country 3 years after Auschwitz, and we build the jewel of the Middle East, the superpower in high-tech, low-tech, medicine, arms. Israel's a superpower in the Middle East 3 years after the Holocaust. That's the power of Rosh Chodesh. To see the or b'toch hachoshech. Men can't see it. It's the women with the bina yetera. And therefore, Rosh Chodesh, when things are all black, it's dafke ver yontiv. And women didn't give up hope in Mitzrayim when the men gave up hope. Why have children? And in Purim story, where the men felt helpless, and in Chanuka, it takes a woman to keep hope alive. Who said that? Keep hope alive, never give up. And the role of women throughout Jewish history has been to be our saviors because they can see through the blackness. So Yehudit is the heroine of Chanuka, just like Esther was the heroine of what? Of Purim. Now the strange Medrash Rabbah and Bereshis, the Yevonim Gozru, Kitfu al Keren Ashor. Mind opening the window? It's a little warm in here. Thank you. Medrash Rabbah tells us, thank you, it's a little warm. Thank you. Are you cold? Thanks. Yevonim Gozru, Kitfu al Keren Ashor. Write on the horns of an ox, She'ein lechem chelik belehei Yisrael. Strange decree that the Medrash Rabbah says, the Greeks decreed that the Jewish people should write al Keren Hashor. What does that mean? The horns of an ox, that you have no chelik in Lehei Yisrael. Why the horns of an ox? Very strange. The ox then was the school bus. A chamor was your Volvo, your Toyota. But how did the kids get to school, Elisheva, 2,000 years ago? What was the school van? A shore, an ox. So they said, put the bumper sticker on the school bus to brainwash the Jewish children to Hellenism.
Can you translate what they wrote?
They wrote, Kitva Karen Ashor, right on the horn of your school bus, that you have no share in the God of Israel. Wow. They put the bumper sticker on the school bus. What was the school bus 2,000 years ago? On the back of an ox. That's how the kids rode to school. So to brainwash the Jewish children to Hellenism, that was their bumper sticker. But it didn't succeed. It didn't succeed, right? There's a pasuk in Tehillim 132, Orachti ner limshichi. King David says, I have prepared a candle for my Mashiach. Says in Ne'esaska, what's King David talking about? The candle of Chanuka. And even though King David lived centuries before Chanuka, but a prophet looked into the future, preparing a candle for my Mashiach, Psalm 132, according to Kabbalah, it's speaking about the Ner Chanuka. So every time a Jew lights a Chanuka candle, he's bringing the light of the Mashiach one step closer. In fact, according to Kabbalah, Mashiach is an acronym. FBI, CIA, IRS. Mashiach, the Mem stands for Madlikim, the Shin stands for Shmonet, the Yud stands for Yemei, and the Ches stands for Chanukah. Yiddish, Mashiach is an acronym. Madlikim, Shmonet, Yemei, Chanukah. How do you bring the Mashiach? By lighting the 8 days of the Chanukah candle, you're bringing the Mashiach one step closer. Isn't that amazing?
Yes, today.
What? Now, Genesis 1 says, V'choshech al panei tehom. There was darkness on the face of the deep. Says the Medrash Rabbah, Malchus Yavan. What's darkness on the face of the deep in Genesis 1? Says the Medrash Rabbah, Malchus Yavan. The Greek kingdom that subjugated Israel. But the Greeks were very enlightened. How could the Medrash call them darkness? Weren't the Greeks very enlightened? Aristotle, Socrates, Homer, Plato, weren't they enlightened? But they were all sexual perverts. They loved little boys. And they admitted it, not ashamed. So this is the idea. You can be enlightened, but you can be a moral degenerate. Because if your chachma is detached from Yirat Hashem, then a person can be a what? Philosopher, genius, but be a sexual pervert as well. So the greatest Greek philosophers, Aristotle, Socrates, Homer, and Plato, were all sexual perverts. Praying on little boys. Was it praying or prying? Praying on little boys. Right? In fact, the story is, how do you separate the men from the boys in Greece?
With a crowbar.
Ooh, what a crowbar. All right. Now, Chanukah teaches us that knowledge is only enlightening when it's attached to what? To God's light. God, or Lagoyim. In fact, the name Chanukah, according to Bnei Yissaschar, comes from the word chinuch. Chinuch means education. Chinuch means education, and lechanech also means what? To prepare. The purpose of the Chanukah light is to educate us and prepare us for what, Rabbi Yaakov? The Or Mashiach, the hidden light of Mashiach. As we read Shabbos the Haftorah in Zechariah, Lo b'chayil, not by armies, v'lo b'koach, and not by might, ki'im beruchi Yom Hashem, but by my spirit, the spirit, the light of God. Person can be a genius, a philosopher, but he doesn't have the light of God. He can be a moral degenerate. He can be a moral degenerate. And therefore, it's interesting that the temple menorah, according to Kabbalah, the temple menorah is the symbol of the 7 branches of science. Why does the menorah have dafka what? 7 branches? According to Kabbalah, the 7 branches of the menorah represent the 7 branches of science. Can I get, what are the 7 branches of science? according to the Maral, what are they? Number one is what? Number one is what? Is Chochmas Hegyon. Language. Hegyon. Language. This is Rabbeinu Bachai. Number two, Hegyon means language. Number two, Chochmas HaMispar, mathematics. Chochmas HaTeva, physics and chemistry. Chochmat HaMidot, which is geometry. Chochmas HaNigun, which is music. Chochmas HaTchona, which is astronomy. And the seventh one is Chochmat Elohus. What does that mean? The wisdom and the knowledge of God. So according to the Maral, those 7 branches of the menorah represent the 7 sciences. Again, number one, Chochmas HaHegyon, language or logic. Number two, Chochmat HaMispar, the wisdom of mathematics. Number 3, Chochmas HaTeva, the wisdom of physics and chemistry. Number 4, Chochmat HaMidot, geometry. Number 5, Chochmas HaNigun, music. Number 6, Chochmas HaTchona, astronomy. And number 7 is what? Chochmat Elohut, the wisdom of knowledge of Hashem. In the menorah, we read this morning that the 6 candles had to be bent to what? To the center, right? Why is that? The middle stem is what? Chochmas Elohus, right? That anchors everything else. That holds it all together. The other 6 branches, they branch out. But the Iker is what? Yehudit Hashem and Chochmas Hashem. So they're only branches of the root. The central shaft is what? Is Chochmas Hashem. That holds it all together. But if wisdom is not anchored in what? Yirat Hashem, then a person can be wise and be a pervert and a degenerate. We say in Psalm 111 every morning, Reishit Chachma Yirat Hashem. The chief of all wisdom is what? Is the fear of God. Is the fear of God. Without the fear of God, the other wisdom don't mean much. So therefore, the menorah had 7 branches. And the 3 on one side and 3 on the other, the candles were all bent towards what? The middle. The middle represents Chochmas Elohus. Because if knowledge is not attached to wisdom of God, the knowledge on his own, the person can become a monster, even though he's a great genius. Wow. The Mishnah says in Avot, Im ein yira, ein chachma. There's no fear of God, then what good is your wisdom? If chachma is an end to itself, if it lacks a moral foundation, then you wind up with Hellenism and perversion and immorality. So the branches of science, HaKadosh Baruch Hu operates through the sciences. To science. It's just amazing that the Rambam tells Hilchot Yesod Torah, how do you love God? There's a mitzvah to love God. How do you love God? By doing mitzvah and studying Torah. But the Rambam says in Hilchot Yesod Torah, chapter 2, it's not enough. You have to study nature. You have to study the natural sciences, and this way a person increases love of Hashem. He says the more knowledge of nature, the more knowledge of love of God. When you meditate on a beautiful world that Hashem made, it increases your what? Your love of Hashem. So it's not enough to study Torah. According to Rambam, you have to be a nature lover in order to really be madly in love with the one above. And the Rambam says something amazing. In Parshas Kisisa, Moshe says, God, I want to see your face. So what does God say to him? Ani avir kol tivi. I want to see your glory. So God said, I'm going to make all of my goodness pass. You'll see at the Chorai, you'll see me from behind, and my front you can't see. So the Rambam says, what does that mean? How do we know God? We can't see his face, but we can see him through what? Nature. When we study the beauty of nature, the Chochmas HaTeva, that's how we come to know and love God. You see me from behind, meaning from the way I operate in the universe. And that's why a person can fall madly in love with the one above. But again, all of science and nature, a person can be, the great rabbis were nature lovers. They went on a nature hike, right? The great rabbis studied nature and loved nature. So weren't they wasting their time? Were they wasting their time? They could be studying. All of the great Kabbalists spent hours meditating where? In the forest, in the woods, on mountains. Were they wasting their time? No. They were falling madly in love with the one above. Now, so you can't really love Hashem unless you know his wonderful, beautiful world. Right? So we have a problem here. Because the Mishnah says in Masechta Avot, if somebody is studying Torah and he stops to admire a beautiful orchard, a beautiful meadow, that person's a sinner. So the Rambam asked the question, wait a minute. How could that be? We just said that you can't really love Hashem until what? You admire, appreciate nature. So how could the Mishnah say if somebody's studying Torah and he stops studying to admire nature, he's a sinner? So what's the Vilna Gaon said, what's the explanation? If that person thinks that admiring nature is stopping to study, he has a problem. He's putting God in a box. God is found in the books, but in nature, in a meadow, in an orchard, that God is not there. That's a sinner. The same God that's found in the holy books is found in a babbling brook, in a beautiful orchard. If you have that hashkafa, you never stop studying. If you're studying and you think admiring nature, you stop studying, mister, you got a problem. You're limiting God to the books. A Jew has to know the same God in the holy books, the same God in the Mishnah is the same God found in the wings of a beautiful butterfly, in a beautiful orchard. With that attitude, you never stop studying Torah. The same God. In the Torah is the same God in what? In the wonders of nature. Wonder of wonder, miracles of miracles. Huh? So with that attitude, Elisheva, we never stop studying Torah. Pretty interesting, huh? Two people can be admiring the wings of a butterfly or a babbling brook or a beautiful orchard. One guy is wasting his time and the other guy is what? Falling in love with the one above. It depends on your attitude. I got an attitude. Huh? Yes? Speak up.
I've been called Tshuva for 15 years, and I've been waiting for 15 years to hear something like this.
See, good thing. Better late than never.
Good thing you came today.
Good thing you came today.
Is anybody else in the room feel that way too?
Man. Better late than never. So I gave you the secret. A Jew never stops studying Torah. Right? You go on a nature hike, or you go see the Swiss Alps. With the right attitude, you're not stopping to study. You are loving God. You're falling madly in love with the one above. But you have to have the right attitude. Now I want to say over a beautiful word that I heard from my friend Sarah Donovan. I have to quote her because she said, a word from Bortland. Chava, this is a word from Bortland. We asked the question, why did God choose to manifest the miracle on oil? There was no ketoret, there was no incense either. There was no lechem aponim, there was no karbonot. The Greeks had canceled the entire temple service. There was nothing. Why did God choose to manifest his miracle dafke with the oil? The ketores is a higher service, Elisheva. When the Kohen burned incense in the morning and the afternoon, that's a much holier service than what? Than the menorah, says Nachmanides. There was no incense either. So why didn't God make incense appear miraculously? What's so special about the oil of the menorah? Light my fire. Ketores is holier. Lechem upon him is holier. Carbon tamid. There was nothing. It was all canceled. So why did God choose to manifest his miracle dafka on Shemen? So I said that Shemen is Rosh Tevot. FBI, CIA. Shabbat, Mila, Nida. The Greeks zeroed in on 3 mitzvot of the Torah to make it capital punishment to observe. And the acronym is Shemen. Shabbat, Mila, Nida. Because if you want to sum up the entire Jewish religion, Yonatan, in one word, it's Shemen. Shabbat is Kedushat Hazman. What's Yehudit all about? To sanctify time. Kill time, waste time. No. Shabbat is a symbol that a Jew can sanctify time. Mila Nida is a symbol that a Jew can sanctify not just his soul, but the body. Through the mitzvah of Mila and Nida, a Jew shows that not just the neshama is holy, the body. That's 99% DNA of what? Of a monkey. I'm not making this up. You can Google it, Golda. 99% of the human body is the same DNA as a monkey. But through the mitzvah Mila Nida, a Jew can take his monkey body and make it as holy as what? As his soul. That's Judaism. Shabbat, Kedushat Hazman, to sanctify time. And Mila Nida, the Jew sanctifies his or her body. So that's the whole Jewish religion. Therefore, God chose to what? Shemen. But Sarah Donovan said a beautiful word, I got to quote her. Based on the Gemara in Sotah, Ish ve'isha shchina b'neihem. Now, they say 3 is a crowd, Chava. They say 3 is a crowd. But in every Jewish marriage, 3 is not a crowd. Ish, how do you say husband in Hebrew? Ish, hubby, has a yud. Isha, Weibel, has a hey. Yud and a hey, Sarah, is what? Shem. In every Jewish marriage, there's what? There's a third partner here. Ish ve'isha, shchina b'neihem. Okay, 3 is a crowd, not a Jewish marriage. And therefore, the Zohar says, why does the woman wear the wedding band? Because what's the symbol of God? What's God's John Hancock? Circle. The ancient of the circle. Therefore, the zillions of planets, how many galaxies are there? Zillions? Every one of them, every planet or star is round. How come it's round? Because when a master finishes his masterpiece, doesn't Picasso sign a master, an artist finishes a masterpiece, he signs his John Hancock. Says the Zohar, what's God's John Hancock? Yechiel. The circle. Because God is a circle. Kaviyachol, a circle has no beginning and no end. God is called the Ein Sof in Hebrew. In a Kabbalistic term, God is called a circle. So what's God's masterpiece? The universe. So therefore, all the planets are round. That's God's John Hancock. So the Zohar says, since women are more godlike, they get to wear the symbol of the third partner in this marriage. According to halacha, the man doesn't wear the ring. He can if he wants, but halacha says the woman has to wear the ring. Because the Zohar says, because the ring represents the Ein Sof, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, my endless love. So since she's more godlike, she's the one to wear the symbol of what? Of God, which is a third partner in what? In Jewish marriage. Where was I? There's a pasuk in Parshas Yisrael, Yitem li sigula. When God gives us the Torah, he says, you will be my sigula. Now what does sigula mean? Treasure. Uncle says, Habibi,
Friend.
Habibi, my lover. But the Balaturim says, Chava, fasten your seatbelts. Balaturim said the word segulas from the word segol. Segol in Hebrew means a triangle. A segol, like a triangle, the dots within the middle. Segol means a triangle. Says the Balaturim, when God gave us the Torah, he says, we are now part of the love triangle. Segula from the word segol, which means triangle. So Sarah Donovan said this idea, Shemen, represents the three partners in the love triangle. Shabbat represents which? HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which is the mitzvah, the quintessential mitzvah that represents God. Shabbat. The Gemara in Shabbat says, God says, I have the most precious gift I can think of, and I give it to Am Yisrael. What's that? Shabbat. So Shabbat represents HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shemen, Shabbat. Mila represents what? The husband. And Nida represents the Bible. So Shemen is the love triangle. You know what Sarah Donovan said? Gewaldig. I said it over to other people. They really quelled. They quelled. How do you say that in English? They quelled. There's no word in English, right? Rivka, how do you say quelled in English? Quelled. Swooned? Swooned. Isn't that incredible? Shabbat is all about God. Mila is all about the husband. Nida is all about the wife. That's the love triangle the Balaturim is speaking about. And therefore God chose to manifest his miracle, dafke wat, with the Shemen, and not any other temple service, which was also what? Canceled. Now, Machlokes Beishamai B'Hillel, Beishamai say on the first night you should light all 8, and then you what? Count down. Hillel says no, Malin Bakodesh. What does that mean? Moving on up, right? The first night 1, the second night 2, Malin Bakodesh, moving on up. Now, this Machlokes in Shammai and Beis Hillel, Jews love to argue, is totally another machlokes. What did God create first, heaven or earth? This machlokes, whether you should write 8 and then go backwards, or 1 and go up, is totally machlokes between Shammai and Beis Hillel. What did God create first, heaven or earth? Well, it says, Bereshis bara Elokim hashamayim haaretz. Yechil says, first God created the heaven and then the earth. So by Shammai say that first God created what? The heaven and then the earth. But Beis says no. In Genesis 2 it says, B'yoim asois Hashem eret v'shamayim. In Genesis 2 it says that first God created what? The earth and then the heavens. First Hashem made the aretz. Connie, who cares? I mean, why should I care whether he created the heaven first or the earth first? I mean, what are they arguing about, Sharona? Fasten your seatbelts. What are they arguing about? Heaven first. One pasuk said created heaven first. The other pasuk said created earth first. Why should I care? What's the message? The message is, according to Beis Hillel, Malin Bakodesh. I'm on earth. God put me on earth. But my tafkid is what? To strive to get to heaven. Working my way back to you. I had to get that in. Working my way back to you, Hashem. We come from heaven. God puts me in a spacesuit down here. But my tafkid is what? To aspire to go back to heaven. I'm working my way back to you, Hashem. Potential working to actual. Right? So that's the tafkid. According to Beis Shammai, I come from Shemayim. I'm a Tzelem Elikim. A Chelik Elohai Mimal. So you light all 8 on the first night. The Ner Hashem focuses on my unfulfilled potential. But the halacha follows Beis Hillel. We focus, where are we now? I'm on earth. I come from heaven, yes. I'm a part of God, yes. But he implanted me in a bodysuit. So Beis Hillel says, hey, where are you now? Now I'm on earth. I'm climbing the soul ladder. Chanoch, I'm a soul man. I'm climbing the soul ladder, step by step, one Ner at a time, Ray. Step by, you can't rush spirituality. People want instant Kabbalah, like instant coffee. It doesn't work. Step by step, you got to climb the soul ladder step by step, one candle at a time. Malin Bakodesh. You can't study Kabbalah if you don't know the basics. Let me give you an analogy. Okay? Meat and potatoes and dessert, right? So the regular Torah, the revealed Torah, that's the main course. That's meat and potatoes. Kabbalah is like what? The dessert. If you're going to eat dessert all the time, you're going to get a stomach ache, Yonatan. And you won't get any protein eating dessert all the time. You're just going to eat the Viennese table?
Yes.
No, you won't get no protein, no vitamins.
I'm going to go to
And you
my
might...
She says I go to get it right away.
No. So the Rambam says this. First, a person has to eat the meat and potatoes or the fish. Get the protein and the vitamins. That's the revealed Torah. Once you're filled up with that, now you can go for the Viennese table. What's that? That's Kabbalah. But the Viennese table always comes lay at the end of the meal. Right? So this is the Rambam's analogy why a person cannot study Kabbalah until he first studies what? The revealed part of the Torah. So every time you light the Chanuka candle, we have to realize we're climbing the soul ladder. We're also bringing the hidden light of the Mashiach, or of Mashiach, according to Kabbalah. We're educating the world and revealing the hidden light of Mashiach. So every candle that we lit, we should know the Mashiach is one step closer. And it's just incredible that Arya Derry said yesterday, Arya Derry, that with Donald Trump's election, Mashiach is very, very close. Arya Derry said that, not me. He said, because gematria of Mashiach, of Donald Trump in Hebrew is Mashiach ben David. You can figure it out. I'm not making this up. Donald Trump, he's not the Mashiach, no. But Mashiach will come during his administration. Arya Derry said that. I mean, the guy came from nowhere. He came from nowhere. You figure out Donald Trump, Yehudit, is gematria Mashiach ben David. So Arya Derry says that probably, hopefully, Mashiach will come during his administration.
Yeah, good sign.
Donald Trump's daughter, Yael is her name. She's a Giyoris, a Tzadekis. Her kids go to a yeshiva in Manhattan, Ramaz Yeshiva. On January 20th, she's bringing in a Chabad Mashgiach to kasher the kitchen in the White House. You tell me that's not Mashiach's time?
Yes, it lasts.
How are they going to go to the inauguration on Erev Shabbat?
They're going to have a hotel near. Well, she's kashering the kitchen. Yiddish? Otherwise, she won't be able to eat there.
That's right.
Trump's daughter, her name is Yael. The kids go to yeshiva. You tell me that's not Messianic times? He came from nowhere.
Yes, we have.
From a miracle. Who believed that he would be the president of the United States?
I believe.
God plays the trump card. David, God plays the trump card.
We all got it.
Thursday, 2 o'clock, we have a class, current events in the Haftorah. Thank you.